Steiner's criticism of James Vowles. Former Haas team principal Günther Steiner openly criticized the statements made by Williams team boss James Vowles regarding Max Verstappen. In the Red Flags podcast, Steiner laughed at Vowles' focus on Verstappen's downsides and called it a bit silly. According to Steiner, any team principal who wants to win a world championship can easily deal with Verstappen's flaws, considering his performance. Just look at what he does with the Red Bull, because it's clear that the RB21 is not the fastest car. He still manages to get it done every time. With this, Steiner made it clear that he disagrees with Vowles' negative assessment and instead emphasized how valuable Verstappen is, even in less dominant machinery. Vowles warns of Verstappen's downsides. James Vowles did in fact publicly warn about the potential drawbacks of bringing Max Verstappen to Mercedes. During the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, Vowles told the media that no one denies Verstappen's exceptional talent. Japan, Suzuka was breathtaking, hats off. But that Verstappen also brings a lot of downsides. Vowles praised the culture at Mercedes with its current driver lineup of George Russell and young rookie Andrea Kimi Antonelli, and suggested that Toto Wolff would be better off sticking with that pairing. What Mercedes has is a great culture with two drivers getting the most out of the car and one who's on the rise. Personally, I don't think there's a spot for Verstappen, said Vowles. Performance of Verstappen, Russell, and Antonelli in 2025. Max Verstappen has had a mixed season so far, but remains one of the top drivers. He is currently third in the World Championship standings, behind the two McLaren drivers. He won the Japanese Grand Prix at Suzuka earlier this year, but Red Bull had a tough start to the season. At the Bahrain Grand Prix, Verstappen finished a disappointing sixth, due to persistent brake issues and slow pit stops caused by a technical failure. In the next race, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, he bounced back. Verstappen took pole position and finished second, despite a controversial time penalty during a battle with Oscar Piastri. Steiner pointed out that Verstappen came right back after Bahrain, took pole, and finished P2 despite an unfair penalty, showing his resilience. George Russell, now Mercedes' lead driver following Lewis Hamilton's departure, is performing solidly in 2025. Vowles stated that Russell is near the peak of the car, and there's little to criticize about his season. Russell has already scored podiums, finishing second in Bahrain behind winner Oscar Piastri. Thanks to consistent results, Russell sits in the upper midfield of the standings, around fourth place, although he hasn't quite matched Verstappen in terms of results. Andrea Kimi Antonelli is making his debut season with Mercedes as an 18-year-old rookie, the first rookie for Mercedes since its return to F1. His results are still modest, which is expected from a newcomer. In Bahrain, Antonelli finished just outside the points in P11. However, Vowles and Mercedes have a lot of faith in his development. Antonelli is making steady progress race by race and gaining valuable experience. Vowles described him as on a good pathway to being very, very competitive and sees him as the future, which is one of the reasons Mercedes may not need to pursue an established name like Verstappen. Red Bull RB21 versus McLaren. Regarding car performance, the article's assessment is accurate. The Red Bull RB21 is not the dominant car this season. McLaren currently has the best car. Steiner explicitly stated that McLaren now simply has the better car and expects their drivers to finish first and second in the championship. This is supported by results. McLaren, with Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris, started the season strong with multiple wins, including Piastri's victories in Bahrain and Jeddah. Verstappen mentioned that Red Bull is roughly half a second per lap slower than McLaren, a significant gap in Formula One. Helmut Marko confirmed that Red Bull has struggled with fundamental issues, such as brake problems in Bahrain, and that McLaren is ahead. Despite this deficit, Verstappen is still keeping Red Bull in the title fight. Thanks to his efforts, Red Bull is third in the Constructors' Championship, and he remains within close range in the title race. Upgrades at the Imola Grand Prix. Yes, the article correctly stated that Red Bull will bring upgrades to the Imola Grand Prix, which is confirmed by recent reports. The Imola weekend, mid-May, has been marked by Red Bull as the time to introduce their first major upgrade package for the RB21. Team principal Christian Horner and advisor Marco have indicated that they hope to close the gap to McLaren by Imola. At the same time, many other teams are also expected to bring upgrades at Imola. In the European leg of the season, nearly all teams traditionally introduce updates. There are reports that Ferrari and Mercedes will also bring significant packages around Imola, and McLaren will undoubtedly continue development. Steiner on Jos Verstappen and Raymond Vermeulen. Steiner also commented on the behavior of Max's father, Jos Verstappen, and his manager, Raymond Vermeulen, and their influence. He suggested that Vowles may have been referring to Verstappen's entourage, including Jos and Raymond, when mentioning downsides. This came after the incident in Bahrain, where Vermeulen confronted Helmut Marko in the Red Bull garage following a disappointing race. Steiner was asked whether he would accept Verstappen's manager yelling at him. His answer was a resounding yes. Verstappen's sporting value more than makes up for moments like that. Look at what Verstappen delivers. He wins races and is third in the championship within close range, Steiner said, pointing out that Max's performance motivates the whole team. According to Steiner, a team boss must accept that someone like Raymond Vermeulen may be dissatisfied and outspoken after a bad race. No shit! Who was happy at Red Bull after Bahrain? Steiner joked. He made it clear that such critical behavior from Verstappen's camp isn't a problem, but rather a sign that no one at Red Bull settles for failure. Steiner further emphasized that Max himself is anything but complacent despite past success, and that his demanding nature pushes the team to perform better. The intensity of Jos and Raymond, according to Steiner, is not a downside, but the price you pay for a driver who demands the best and wins championships.